Good afternoon. This is Daphne Johnson. I am the author of She Said Yes. It's time to answer the call to purpose. And today I am resurrecting something I started doing some time ago called She Said Yes Sundays. And on Sunday afternoons, this is the day of the week that most of us perhaps attend church. And so, it's the day that I already got my hair done, got my makeup done, that thing. So it's easy for me to come on camera. So I wanted to start a new conversation. And today I am going to kick off what will be a month-long conversation about the subject of gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful thing. It has various mental and physical effects on us. And so I'd like to look at some ways that we can start to make feeling gratitude a daily focus. And just to go back or to rewind a little bit, I think about when I really began a gratitude practice. It was during a season of my life that I really didn't plan for. And so I was single mom with two small kids, and it just so happened that I watched an episode of Oprah, and she talked about a gratitude journal and her daily practice of at the end of the day, she would record some things that she was grateful for. And even if it was just one thing that she would focus on, but it was a way of honoring the positive things that was happening in her life, even if it wasn't, ideal or perfect, or if she hadn't achieved, exactly what it was that she had planned to achieve. And so I adapted that practice, and I found myself reflecting and recording positive thoughts at the end of each day. And they were honest, positive thoughts, but what they were lifting my eyes, lifting my thoughts above the circumstance that perhaps wasn't what I had decided was, where I wanted to be. And so one of the things that really did for me was it gave me something to be happy and to smile about, even though there were also unpleasant, circumstances, as we all, experience unpleasant circumstances in our life. And so I continued that practice for some time. And I recently brought it up again as I was writing my book, because I was reflecting on the idea of how I got to a mindset of being able to share what it looks like to walk in and live in purpose. And one of the things that surfaced for me was the ability to be grateful in every situation. When I think about that, it makes me think about, the scripture that talks about being grateful in all things, to be thankful in all things. And it's not for all things, but it's in all things, meaning that we have the ability to even find a reason to rejoice, even if the situation isn't one that we would rejoice about. And so that was kind of a reflection that I that surfaced for me as I was preparing to write my book. And I also was examining and looking at, some things in my life that led to me recognizing the things that were purposed for me, and also honoring those people who were a part of that process. And it could be people that it actually was people that some I didn't know, but they were positive role models for me. And then there were positive people that directly contributed to, kind of pushing me into the direction of stepping out confidently and doing what I feel that I am called to do. And so for that, I am grateful. Speaking of, I also want to thank those of you who follow me, who support me, who encourage me, and who have purchased a copy of my book. And you've invested, some small way in She Said Yes, the book, the movement, whatever it is. And so I'm deeply grateful for those who have even said yes to whatever it is that God has called you to do, and that maybe at some point in our intersection, I may have encouraged you in some way to step out and to do what it is God called you to do. So with all of that being said, I want to just introduce you to the fact that gratitude is a choice. We have an opportunity to look at a situation absolutely for what it is, but we also have an opportunity to choose to look at it not just as though the glass is half full, but choose to look at it as if the glass is refillable. And I thought about that when I was preparing, because, you know, sometimes our cups do run empty, but we have a source that will allow us to refill on a regular and a routine basis if we decide that we will seek that source. And so we don't have to, you know, stare at an empty glass and consider that that is, you know, the final outcome that we can anticipate for ourselves. But we can look at it differently, and we can go to the source who will help us to fill our cups. And so the other thing I would like to talk about when it comes to the topic of gratitude is a choice to focus on what you have as opposed to what you don't have, to focus on who's supported you and encouraged you rather than who has done you wrong. Circumstances that may not have been as positive as you would like them to be versus circumstances that have turned out and provided some benefit to you. You know, those are all your choices. And at the beginning of the day, when you wake up in the morning and when your feet hit the floor, you have a choice in how you are going to navigate your day as opposed to your day navigating you. And I know some of you all have been there. I've been there where, you know, my day ran me more than I ran it, you know. And then when I decided that, okay, I'm going to take some time to prepare myself for my day and not let the negative feelings carry me, but on the reverse, excuse me, I'm going to actually interject positive feelings, positive thoughts, positive prayers into my day before I even begin, so that I'm equipped and ready. And so, again, gratitude is a choice. And then the other thing I would like to talk about is how we can stay positive even in the midst of situations that are adversities for us and things that, you know, we didn't expect. You know, again, I mentioned how I started a gratitude practice when my children were small, and I unexpectedly became a single mother. And, you know, it wasn't what I signed up for, but at the same time, I understood my assignment. And my assignment was to raise my children to the best of my ability to be a positive force in their lives, and also to nourish them and nurture them and train them up in the way they should go. So by understanding the assignment, I became grateful for the fact that God entrusted me with them. And I knew that I didn't want to let him down. And I certainly didn't want to let them down. Now, was I perfect? No, absolutely not. And the fact of the matter is, you know, your kids get grown, and you know, you find out that, you know, there were some things that you did along the way that may not have been the absolute best things, but you knew you came from a heart with great intentions, and that everybody turned out all right. And so I'm grateful even for that, you know, that not having a handbook, but having people in the village to support and encourage. Certainly, we turned out all right. But yeah, so adversity, things that can happen in our lives. And sometimes it's a result of bad choices that we've made, or things that were outside of our control. In either case, it's up to us to decide exactly how we're going to react in that particular situation. One thing that I would say is it's important to know that even when there's adversity, it's always important to remember how blessed we are. You know, we are living in a time when things are absolutely crazy. You turn on the news, which I try not to watch much news, to be quite honest, but you turn on the news or you listen to, you know, snippets on social media, or, you know, on digital media or whatever. And you just hear, you know, people are hurting, and people are still rebounding, from the tragedy that we all experienced, in 2020, being locked down and, all kinds of things that happened as a result of COVID. And so, despite all that, we have what we have, and at the end of the day, it's enough. And we are blessed. And so I'm going to share a quote with you. It's by Melody Beattie. Here it is. Gratitude turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. It makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Just think about if you were to start to practice gratitude every day. Honestly, it's a good thing to just start each day, even when some things have gone wrong or when you feel overwhelmed, to just take a deep breath, just inhale and realize, wow, I'm still here to take that breath, and to feel what I feel, no matter if it's a positive or negative feeling, but to just have the ability to breathe in air and to feel what you feel. It's important that you take the time to be grateful, to be thankful for what you've got. The other thing I would say, building upon that, even make a list, start to make a list of things that you're grateful for, whether it be, starting a gratitude journal and recording at least one thing, at the end of the day, that you have to be grateful for. And we all have something. And if you fail to recognize or acknowledge what you're grateful for, and you're only looking at lemons, I would encourage you to make an effort to make some lemonade. Count those lemons up and count your blessings and use what you got and turn it into some gratitude and turn what you have into enough. And, we come from a people that knew how to take something and take nothing and turn it into something. And to make whatever we had, stretch. And, our mothers were, the queens of, make, do, stew, going into the cabinets and coming out and creating, a culinary masterpiece, on what seemed to be meager fare. Now, I will say, I come from a middle-class family, and honestly, there was never a day that I saw that, we had any sense of difficulty as it related to having enough. But our ancestors and the people before us, that was actually a practice that families, particularly families with a whole lot of children, knew how to make, $1 out of 15 cents. And so I want you to, even take time to, in the midst of what may be adversity, to take some time to be grateful. And then, it might be easier said than done, especially if you're struggling with being low, anxious, depressed even. And if that's the case, it's nothing wrong with getting help from that space. So I'm talking about being able to basically have a bright outlook, no matter what's going on. And I recognize and understand that there are times in, many of our lives where we have difficulty with that. And you know what? It's okay. And certainly I would say there's nothing wrong with getting help out of that space. Matter of fact, it's the smart thing to do to get help out of that space. And you know what? We can even be grateful for the fact that, God gave people wisdom and knowledge to be able to help us navigate those spaces. So that's even something to be grateful for, to recognize if you are in a space where you can't see, your way, and you can't see what you have to be grateful for, then certainly you have the ability to change that by having someone help you through that season. But then I would say surround yourself with positive people, surround yourself with positivity, surround yourself with activities that you enjoy, get outside, Enjoy nature. You know, the weather is changing. It's cold here in Wisconsin. But we've had a warm spell. And the colors of the leaves are changing on the leaves on the trees are changing. So it's an opportunity to witness the beauty of nature. But also I would encourage you to spend some time helping others. You know, nothing helps you forget about yourself more than giving of yourself. And that reminds you also how much you have to be grateful for if you help someone who perhaps doesn't even have what you have. So that's just meaning that you're turning that gratitude outward. You know, you're sharing a little bit of yourself with the world, and that does wonders for your well-being, your mental well-being, your physical well-being, your spiritual well-being, when you can help somebody else and make life a little better for somebody else. It also has an impact on others as well. You know, those individuals who may not have experienced the care and concern of others gives them an opportunity to experience some gratitude as well when they realize that someone will come along and see about them. And so before I close, I want to encourage you with just a couple things. The first would be, you know, there's a practice called random acts of kindness. And most of us have heard this, and not many. Personally, I haven't done this before, but as I was preparing to share with you this month, that is something that came up for me, random acts of kindness. Do something kind for a stranger. It can be something as simple as paying it forward in the drive-through, giving someone a few kind words, complimenting the cashier, ringing up your groceries in the grocery store. And that is something that I really try to be intentional about doing, because oftentimes the cashier in the grocery store, you know, is dealing with negative attitudes of most of the people coming through the store, through their lines, that don't have much positive to say. And so I try to intentionally do that, and that's pay a compliment to the cashier, ringing up groceries. Or it could be, you know, making it a goal just to simply do something kind every day and be intentional about it. The other thing I would encourage us to do is to really take the time to show respect and thank those who serve you in any way. There are many people who serve us, whether it be, you know, when we're talking about service at a restaurant, whether it be, I mentioned the cashier, whether it be our mail person, whether it be a first responder, whatever person has come to your aid or offered you some assistance when you're out and about. Take the time to be respectful and thank them with your words and with your actions. And in the case of, you know, being in a restaurant, a generous tip. And we're going into the holiday season, and we know that individuals who work in service industries put in hard work, especially now that most restaurants and service places of business are short staffed. So the people that are there truly do deserve our respect and our gratitude. And you can show them how grateful you are, and encourage them so that they realize that their work is not in vain. The other thing I would encourage us to do is to volunteer if the opportunity arises. There are many opportunities. And if you can't go and volunteer in person, send aid to those who do. And not only is it a wonderful way to give back and spread gratitude, but you'll be amazed at how much you'll get out of it as well. Last but not least, I would like to encourage us to work on becoming closer to the people that you love. And whether it be your own children, your own family, or, you know, people that you serve with in church, whether it be even people that that you're friends with, you know, that you've been friends with forever, you know, just any relationships that you would like to let those people know that you're grateful for them as well. And so as I prepare to close, I want to ask you these questions. What will you do today, this week, or in this coming month to first show gratitude, express gratitude, and also spread gratitude in your own circle of influence? And how will you go out and make a difference and make this world a better place, and perhaps encourage someone else to express gratitude as well? So that's all I have for you today. Again, my name is Daphne Johnson. This is She Said Yes Sunday. If you don't already, I would like to ask if you would go to my website, sign up to join my newsletter. I'm actually going to be sharing this video with my newsletter recipients as well. So it's available for your replay. You'll also see it on my YouTube channel. So my website is www.shesaidyes.live. And I'd like to ask also if you would share this video, encourage another person to be grateful, to express gratitude. Someone on your timeline probably needs to hear this. And again, as we're entering into the holiday season, consider how you may be a blessing to someone else. And I'd even encourage you, if you haven't already bought a copy of my book, to pick up a copy to share with someone in this season that might be able to encourage them to say yes, to walk out in their purpose, to understand and embrace that purpose and walk out into it. So again, thank you for taking a few minutes to listen to me. I look forward to sharing with you again next week, Sunday, continuation on the topic of gratitude. And that's it for now. Have a good evening. Goodbye.